معك يا طيب، الله معك يا طيب.
Dr. Fadlo Khouri, President of the American University of Beirut, VP for Medical Affairs, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Dr. Raymond Sawaya, Deputy Vice President and Vice Dean, Dr. Kamal Badr, Faculty of Medicine. Thank you. AUB and AUB MC leadership, assistant and associate deans, chairpersons, faculty, residents, students, inductees, parents, and friends attending the 2026 Gold Humanism Honor Society AUB FM Chapter Induction Ceremony. Good evening. As we gather today to celebrate the induction of new members into the Gold Humanism Honor Society, we do so at a remarkable moment in history. Never before has medicine been so advanced. We can sequence an entire genome in days. I cannot, a molecular pathologist, it's in my blood. We can detect diseases earlier than even before. We can connect patients and physicians across continents, and now we stand at the dawn of another revolution, artificial intelligence. Every day we hear extraordinary claims. AI can read radiology exams or scans, pathology slides, summarize medical records, or answer clinical questions in seconds. And naturally, a question emerges. What will remain uniquely human? Today, I would like to suggest that the answer is simple: everything that truly matters. The essence of medicine has never been technology. The essence of medicine has always been humanity. Long before CT scanners, molecular diagnostics, immunotherapy, robotic surgery, AI, patients sought physicians for something deeper than treatment. They sought understanding, reassurance, hope, and they still do. Patients rarely remember the exact laboratory value we discussed. They may not remember the name of the medication we prescribed, but they remember how we made them feel. They remember whether we listened, whether we cared, whether we treated them not as diagnosis, but as a human being. That is why humanism is not a luxury in medicine. It is not an optional skill. It is not an extracurricular activity. It is the foundation upon which all healing is built. The members of the Gold Humanism Honor Society represent this principle at its highest level. Today, we are not simply recognizing academic excellence. We are not honoring highest grades or longest CVs. We are celebrating something far more important. We are recognizing individuals who understand that medicine is both a science and an art, that knowledge without compassion is incomplete, that expertise without humility is limited, and that excellence without empathy is not true excellence. Technology may help us diagnose disease. Humanity helps us heal people. Technology may tell us what is happening. Humanity helps us understand what it means. Technology may extend life. Humanity gives life meaning. And perhaps that is the greatest challenge for all of us, not simply to become better clinicians, better scientists, but to become better human beings. Because at the end of every consultation, every procedure, every diagnosis, every treatment plan, that there remains a person with fears, a person with hopes, a person who is trusting us with one of the most vulnerable moments of their lives. That trust is sacred. And preserving that trust is the responsibility of every physician, especially those who wear the mantle of humanism. To our inductees, today you join a community that believes medicine is ultimately about people. Years from now, new technologies will emerge. AI will become more powerful. Medicine will continue to evolve, but one truth will remain unchanged. Patients will always need someone who cares, someone who listens, someone who sees the person behind the disease, someone who brings humanity into healing. May you always be that person. And may you always remember that in an age increasingly defined by artificial intelligence, the most powerful force in medicine remains the human heart. And for my students among the inductees, remember that sentence from my lecture about gene ethics, and based on the 1997 Gattaca movie, there is no gene for the human spirit. Thank you, and congratulations to our newest members of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. I would like to invite to the podium my partner, my dear partner, and GHHS AUB Chapter Co-Advisor, Dr. Zena Kanafani, for her remarks.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome. Remember your why, not why, the letter Y, WHY. This was the name of a campaign by the Gold Foundation in October 2024 that stated the following: in the journey of medicine, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day challenges and lose sight of the passion that drove you to pursue this path. This month is dedicated to helping you reconnect with your initial motivations and rediscover your purpose in medicine. When I read this, I started reflecting on my own why. Was it a role model, a personal experience, a deep-seated desire to make a difference? And then I was almost horrified to realize it was none of these. My career in medicine was a purely accidental event. In high school, when it was the time to apply to colleges, almost everybody in my class had applied to biology at AUB. So following the crowd, I applied to biology. And then people started talking about this thing called MCAT. And I asked what that was. It's for medical school, they said. Oh, really? Okay, let's do that then. Study for MCAT and apply to medical school. Just like everybody else, follow the crowd. I received my acceptance and I started medical school, and the rest is history. Fast forward 31 years, and I'm standing here among you talking about my why. My why was non-existent at the time. My why was external influence by my peers who were chasing their dream, and I was chasing their dream too. Luckily, things evolved. When I first stepped into the hospital as a Med 3 student, I started to develop my why. And it changed with time, and it kept on changing. And it is still changing even today. My why is always a work in progress. It matured from curiosity about the science of medicine and the human body to pursuit of a prestigious career until it became something else entirely. It became more than what I do, it defined who I am. With every new experience, with every new milestone, my why grew and strengthened. Like a small green offshoot that grows into a tree with a white trunk that keeps on adding concentric circles with every year it ages, adding layer upon layer of emotions, experiences, and battle scars. It also grows down to forge deeper roots, roots that anchor me to AUB and to Lebanon, and to serve this institution and this country until the last breath. And it grows in its branches too. In my Y tree, there is the clinical care branch that aims at reaching patients at the human level, touching their lives and healing their souls before healing their bodies. There's also the research branch, still fueled by my curiosity about the human body, but also about the microbes that became my utmost fascination. And finally, there's the teaching branch, which is especially dear to my heart. My mother was a mathematics teacher with 39 years of experience under her belt. She just turned 92 months ago, and she is still often stopped in the street by former students who praise her and offer their deepest respect for her. I would like to think that I got my teacher's genes from my mom. And this part of my Y tree is what has allowed me to stand here today celebrating my dear students who make me infinitely proud, and also celebrating the residents and my dear colleagues. It's also what allows me to make a difference, even just a tiny difference in their lives and their careers. So although I started with an absurd why, I am now happy and grateful to reflect on what that why has evolved into. At this point, I expect my why will continue to evolve to include everything I mentioned so far, from clinical care to research to teaching to service, plus legacy. My why will become what I will leave behind, what I have amassed and continue to do so along the way in friendships, mentorships, scholarships, and deep connections with my patients. I consider myself lucky and blessed to have found my why along the way. How sad my life would have been if I hadn't, if I was wandering about aimlessly without knowing where I am or where I'm going. I have God to thank for that. He showed me the way and showed me his plan for me. In that sense, I think that medicine chose me rather than me choosing medicine. So my advice to you, if you already know your why, nurture it, water it, give it air and sun, and watch it grow and transform your life entirely. And if you have not yet discovered it, don't worry and don't despair, and don't think that you are a bad doctor. But please don't wait another day before going on a soul-searching journey to find it. And when you do, hold on to it, grab onto it, and let it be engraved in your heart and your being, because it will be your anchor through the dark moments of your career, and it will be the lighthouse that guides your ship through the rough seas of doubt and uncertainty. You have been chosen today not because of how much you know, but because of how you make others feel seen, heard, respected, and cared for. And as you are celebrating your induction into the Gold Humanism Honor Society, I hope you will recognize that your why is your gold medal, your why is your humanism, your why is your honor. Thank you.
It's my honor to invite VP Dean Sawaya to the podium to deliver his speech.
Thank you, Dr. Mahfouz, and thank you, Dr. Kanafani, the co-director, chairs of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. We are so fortunate to value humanism, and I want to first thank and appreciate Deputy Dean, VP, Dr. Kamal Badr. I think we can give him an applause. Dr. Badr had the vision and the belief that this is an important element for our medical school. And since he has led our medical school program for so many years, he did the right thing by bringing this honor society to AUB. President Khouri, good evening. Thank you for being with us. Director Ataye, leadership, colleagues from FM, families, and graduates. Last year, on this occasion, I chose the topic of patient complaints because we learn a lot from the experience of the patients. And being humanistic and good listener, you understand where the patient's coming from and what we need to do for them. Today, I chose a different topic. I want to talk about moral courage. Moral courage. What is it? What is the foundation of moral courage? Because I believe of all people, you have in you that moral courage. So let's explore that for a minute. So moral courage is central to the practice of medicine and is one of the ways to ensure patient safety. This is particularly relevant to health professionals who are faced daily with moral dilemmas requiring acts of courage. The Code of Ethics for Health Professionals conveys the values and obligations regulating their conduct in relation to their patients, colleagues, communities, and their profession. And among top list of moral values aspired to are honesty, respect, responsibility, fairness, compassion, of course, and courage. So, what's the relationship between courage and fear? The word courage has its root in the Latin term cor, C-O-R, or French cœur, which means heart. To have heart is to have courage. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines courage as a mental or moral strength to venture, preserve, and resist fear, threat, or struggle. And I'll add to that in a minute. As such, moral courage is the individual capacity to overcome fear and stand up for his or her core values. Individuals who decide to take a principled stand against moral violations, despite personal risks, are enforcing moral principles that are meant to ensure the proper functioning of society. So what are the foundation for moral courage? According to Pajakowski, morally courageous individuals have the following three characteristics. Ethical sensitivity, which means the ability to acknowledge ethical dilemmas, be sensitive to it. Two, moral integrity. And that is the willingness to follow ethical principles and personal values despite the risk to the individual. And the third one is accountability, which is the sense of obligation to comply with ethical principles. That means to act when you see something wrong, you have the courage to speak up and to act on it. What's the role of our educators? And that's for us. So moral courage is a virtue that is seldom learned in a classroom. You're not going to teach it in the classroom. Rather, it is observed and emulated in real-life situations. This is particularly relevant to healthcare professionals in training who, because of organizational constraints, medical hierarchy, and concerns about evaluations and career opportunities, may feel especially hesitant to act according with their ethical convictions. So in that situation, to have role models who show you how you can be courageous despite that risk is priceless. So educators and institutions at all levels can serve to develop and enable moral courage by rewarding ethically sound behavior. Now, there is something called moral injury or moral distress that I need to also mention. And acting morally, courageously is strenuous. It's difficult, frequently difficult. Conversely, there is a cost to not acting courageously. And so that's where moral injury occurs when we see an injustice we feel powerless to address, while moral distress occurs when a person knows the right action to take, but cannot due to various constraints. And this has effect on job satisfaction, job performance, physical and psychological well-being, and turnover and retention. So it's very important to face up to that situation. In closing, moral courage is often seen as a cornerstone for the well-functioning of societies. Regrettably, public faith in institutions has declined as misinformation proliferates and moral norms are being degraded. And we are seeing that in many universities in the United States and fake news all over the place. To this end, organizational leaders can help create an environment supportive of speaking up through developing a common purpose, dealing with controversy with civility and a collaborative spirit. And I want to recognize President Khoury, who did just that in this hall when we had a faculty assembly just a few weeks ago, telling us how we should be talking to each other, listening to each other with civility and collaborative spirit. So, moral courage is a way to stand against this tide. It is a skill that the more it is practiced, the more it becomes a natural outlet to act for a meaningful, noble, and morally desirable goal. Congratulations on you receiving this honor, and I believe that you have it in you to act morally courageously. Thank you.
We will now display a video which also coincides with the 20th anniversary of the GHHS. Enjoy.
The Gold Humanism Honor Society is the only honor society in the world devoted to humanism in healthcare. Compassion, collaboration, and scientific excellence.
Healthcare is not just about medical knowledge and technology, but it's about the human experience, about the human connection.
I found that in the GHHS was my home. Here were people who talked about the heart of medicine.
How did this remarkable group begin? It started more than 2 decades ago with the seed of a question. How can we identify doctors who are not just skilled at facts, but skilled at compassion, at connecting with their patients?
It was planted because there was a need for that particular aspect of medicine to be regenerated. You know, humanism in medicine is not new to the Arnold B. Gold Foundation. It started in the days of the great doctors of ancient Greece and Hippocrates and their understanding that love is at the heart of medical care.
Well, the startup of the GHHS was fairly long, and obviously trying to change institutions is a monumental task. It's actually quite audacious to think one can go about doing that.
It took years of work, but in 2002, this dream became reality. 3 medical schools agreed to start a Gold Humanism Honor Society chapter. Columbia University, University of Iowa, and Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School.
I was a medical student at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, which was actually one of the first medical school chapters in the country when GHHS was started. I think my first reaction was, wow, like, I'm so happy that this exists.
I don't know of a medical school person that I've met that has a GHHS chapter that doesn't talk about the magic that happens when you start a chapter. It's such a personal thing. When you talk about the Gold Humanism Honor Society, you're talking about who we are as human beings.
As GHHS grew, it began to change medical education in important ways.
The Gold Humanism Honor Society has had an enormous impact on medical education. Chapters of the society are now present in virtually every medical school in the country and many in foreign countries.
Over time, the Gold Foundation started to develop specific events and initiatives that all chapters could participate in.
Solidarity Day, they did big thank yous in the hospitals to all of the nurses and others and families and patients.
When the National GHHS went to bat to put the GHHS on the ARIS form, that was truly transformational. It raised the visibility of the GHHS. I think it helped program directors across the country understand this is valuable to us. Yes, knowledge and skills are valuable, but so is the human being that walks through the door to serve the patient. So the ARIS form checkoff was definitely a highlight.
Then GHHS turned toward residents, the overlooked heroes of hospital medicine, and simply essential to both healthcare and medical education. The Gold community thought we needed a special recognition. GHHS started Thank a Resident Day, also in 2018, and it's grown full tilt every year, so that in 2022, more than 500 sites across the country participated in this new initiative.
The Thank a Resident program really was instrumental at our medical school to connect and build relationships between medical students and residents. Not often do undergraduate medical education and graduate medical education intersect, and this program itself did that.
When the murders of George Floyd and too many others and the COVID-19 pandemic brought greater attention to the terrible, persistent racial injustices, GHHS demanded change both outside and inside the halls of medicine. GHHS leaders developed a new initiative, Humanism and Healing, Structural Racism and its Impact on Medicine.
It resulted in a lot more research projects and community projects and conversations around structural racism, around inequity in healthcare, that I think will have an impact on people for many, many years to come.
And I think that the more we kind of bind together and the more that we kind of engage with this community, there's so much potential to really change the world. I really do believe that.
I would like to think that we are really making headway and accomplishing what Arnold and Sandra had as their vision years ago.
I think GHHS will continue to be the flag bearer for humanism in medicine and bring together more and more people who are passionate about high quality, human-centered patient care.
We've had 20 years of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. When you look at the impact of those 20 years, it's like we've been there for 50 or 100.
I hope this organization continues to grow, and I hope we continue to reimagine what it looks like to be humanistic in medicine.
It's now my distinct honor to present our keynote speaker, President Fadl Khouri. Dr. Fadl Khouri has served as the 16th president of the American University of Beirut since 2015. Under his leadership, AUB restored academic tenure, tripled the amount of financial assistance for students, and diversified the student body by attracting outstanding students from across Africa and Asia. A fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, American Association for the Advancement of Science, and vice president of the Lebanese Academy of Sciences, Dr. Khouri is a renowned medical oncologist, cancer researcher, and academic leader with vast experience in leading equally through times of crisis and opportunity. Thank you for agreeing to be with us tonight, and I would like to present you with an honorary GHHS tassel.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Zaina. Thank you, friends. Good evening. Actually, everything that I was going to tell you has been said. So we're going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to reflect on some of the things that get us all here and why this moment should matter for you. So first of all, it's a privilege to join you in celebrating this important day. You're being inducted into a society that reaffirms the reasons we go into medicine. We all come from different perspectives. Honestly, I've done this for a long time, as have some of the other folks here. No two people go to medical school for exactly the same reason. No two people train in a specialty for exactly the same reason. But we all converge, and we converge on the service of those less fortunate. And a special shout out to Kamal Badr, who made this one of the easier decisions of my 11 years as presidency for us to join the Gold Humanism Award. So almost all of us, when we're children, were asked to learn that there are 5 questions, basically. Who, where, how, what, and why. Who, where, how, what, and why. Who? Who is you? Who is your colleagues, your parents, everyone who is in the ecosystem that brought you to this day, to your graduation, to your training, to your days as an attending physician, but who is also the patient. And that has been something with the evolution of the art and science that is medicine for the last, let's say, 150 years, that perhaps we've started to lose track of some of the core values of our profession. Remember, if you go back to Hippocrates and even Avicenna and all the way through Osler, our tools were relatively limited. So it was all about who. In reality, before Welsh and others went to Europe to learn the science of medicine, being a physician in the United States was more akin to being a cobbler learning how to fix shoes. It was purely an art, but I would argue it was still done well. So who is all about who you are and what you take away from your interactions with the patients. And please be under no misconceptions. You get back as much from that patient as you put in, and they get as much back as you both put in. So that's something you always have to evolve to remember. How? How do we get there? How do we make patients' lives better? The reality is today, we have much better tools to diagnose, treat, prevent, discover, and learn. But if anything, that has made the choices more difficult and the humanism more vital. If you break it right down to the basics, it is all about being more than what a patient of mine once called Dr. Google. And this is a patient who came to see me with a very rare diagnosis of a head and neck tumor that most of you will never see in your lives. And she came in, and as usual, the trainees, how many of you raise your hand if you go in before the attendings to take a history? You go in with the attending? Go in before the attending. And appropriately, the fellow who'd been overworked and probably underpaid and was sleepy was looking up the diagnosis of carcinoma expleomorphic adenoma on the desktop as she was talking to the patient, only to be kicked out by the patient who said, I came all the way from Texas to see Dr. Khoury, not Dr. Google. So remember that the next time you're in a rush, put your hand on the doorknob, because that's a signal to the patient that I don't have time for you. Or you spend more time typing or looking at your screen than you do looking at them. Because that is an essential part of our armamentarium. Even today, when we have many more therapeutic and diagnostic options, one of the most powerful is how you made that patient feel. Were they the center of the universe during the encounter? When you talk about what, you're talking about what is the expectation and what is the reality of that encounter. And sometimes what the expectation and the reality are for the patient are vastly different. You live in a country and in a region where still large swaths of patients and of communities don't believe that their loved one should ever hear the word cancer. We have people who get years of treatment because they have هيديك المرض or التهاب or something. So bringing that reality together with the expectation is a key part of the physician and has always been. So that's a critical part of your role. And you have to do it with reality and with judgment. Now, of course, your tools are limited. One of the very first patients I treated 31 years ago at MD Anderson was coming all the way to see me from Jordan, had not been informed they had cancer, and the family, which was connected to the Jordanian royal family, asked me if the patient could somehow be informed, not be informed they had cancer. Well, you know, you walk in and there's a giant sign that says MD Anderson Cancer Center. And this is way before John Mendelsohn, as Ray recalls. There's none of the marketing of making cancer history, but even the pens that you use to fill out things are saying MD Anderson Cancer Center. So you do have that duty, that sacred duty to bring the reality closer together for the patient. How do you do this? What do you do? Why do you do it? And who? Finally, why? Why are you here today? Why are you being honored? Well, you're being honored for a precocious trait, and I'm talking about our young attendings as well. That precocious trait, in baseball, it would be called a good eye. But here in medicine, you have to have a good eye and a good ear, and a good eye and a good ear and a good heart for the patient. That is why you are being recognized all early in your careers. This is an honor, but it is also a responsibility. In fact, the history of medicine is replete with technological discoveries, everything from the first observation of cancer, which predates to the time of the pharaohs, when a woman's breast auto-amputated, all the way to the dissection, surgical dissection, to the early 20th century discovery of anesthesia, respirators, gene mapping, and today to artificial intelligence. But what has been that consistent thread is that good ear, that good eye, that good heart, and that good mind to be with people. So today, you are being inducted to what I would argue is a 20-year-old Gold Humanism Society, but you're really being inducted to an almost 5,000-year-old profession. And for that, I congratulate you for your accomplishments, and I urge you to accept every day the responsibility that you are being given with great humility and great care. Medicine is a wonderful profession. I don't think you'll find many people, if any people in this room, between your parents, your faculty members, yourselves, your teachers, who regrets that you went into medicine or that we went into medicine. Don't forget to enjoy it. It is a magnificent journey. Alf Mabruk.
A minor change in the program schedule, so we're going to enjoy and welcome Dr. Anne-Marie Dow for her speech on behalf of all inductees.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Anne-Marie, and I'm the graduating ENT this year. I'm truly honored to be standing here today to share an important milestone in my career. First and above all, I would like to take a moment to thank the GHHS committee, Dr. Kanafani and Dr. Mahfouz, for giving me the chance to deliver a speech on behalf of the inductees. When I first asked Dr. Kanafani about the rules of this speech, her only answer was, anything from the heart. And this explains the reason why we are all gathered here. As I am standing here today, for the most human of all professions, I cannot but take a moment to think about all the little moments that shaped me into the doctor I am today. 2 months ago, on a random Wednesday, 3 p.m. Beirut time, I went to the OR, as usual, wore my scrubs, put my phone on silent, and scrubbed in on a complex thyroidectomy case. 30 minutes later, as we were dissecting to reach the thyroid gland, we heard about a massive, sudden wave of airstrikes in all parts of Lebanon. I paused for a second, and the first thought was, shall we stop? Shall we postpone the case? What happened to my loved ones? I looked at my surroundings, my mentor, my colleagues, the nurses in OR, and I was surprised to see them working without any explanation, each one continuing to do their job. I asked myself, and you might be asking yourself the same question right now, have we somewhere along the way lost empathy? Well, it's pretty much the opposite. Empathy in this case meant also resilience, the feeling that makes you refuse to give up, the feeling that teaches you that when you start something, you do not stop before the finish line, thinking that behind the thyroidectomy, there is a person, a mother, a daughter, and maybe a sister who have been waiting weeks and weeks to go to their OR and listen to Hamdulillah Salame. And I'm sure this example has happened with each one of us in this room, in our daily practice. We pause, we think, we ask ourselves, shall we stop? Shall we give up? Shall we skip going to work during these difficult times? Despite it all, we remain here for beginnings and endings, for miracles and tragedies, and sometimes we remain here for the simple act of being present. Dear inductees, we see a lot of unfairness in our everyday practice, and I will say it, a lot more in this country than any other place. We see unfairness on the news. We hear about it in the workplace. We witness it among our friends. And really, the only way to combat this unfairness is to bring a little light into this world. That's the thing about medicine. It will ask everything of you, but it will give back in ways that you can never imagine. Indeed, it is in medicine that you get to see life in its rawest forms. A mom holding her newborn for the first time, a cancer survivor ringing the bell, a deaf patient that you've implanted and you see their reaction when they hear after the very first time. And this is the moment when you realize patients don't want to know how much you know. They want to know how much you care. You can memorize every textbook, ace every exam, and master every procedure. But if you can't look at a patient in the eye and make them feel seen, heard, and safe, you've missed the point. Dear inductees, we are doctors, and that's for life. Like it or not, it will probably be the most defining part of who you are. You'll become the doctor of every Sunday barbecue, the doctor during your Uber ride back home. Embrace that role and never shy away from it. Don't spend your time trying to continuously prove you are smart. I will say it, you are smart, and you've proven it. Instead, spend your time trying to be wise now. It's a difference. Smart people may know the right answers. Wise people, they know the right questions. Always be kind. Take the extra moment to touch, smile a lot, even use humor. And at the end of the day, remember that healing doesn't come from prescriptions and surgeries. It often begins with a conversation and a gentle hand on a shoulder. And last but not least, in a world increasingly dominated by artificial intelligence, focus on being another type of AI, which is authentic intelligence. Congratulations to all, and thank you.
So I know how tight is our president's schedule, but still, I would like to invite you to the podium, together with VP Dean Sawaya and the co-chapter advisor, Dr. Zaina Kanafani, really for the delivery of the certificates and the pins, and let's all enjoy it.
Faculty members inducted into the UBFM Gold Humanism Honor Society Chapter 2026. Dr. Rana Yamout in absentia. Her husband, Mr. Yahya Anouti, will receive the certificate on her behalf. Dr. Hassan Dumyati. Resident inducted into the UBFM Gold Humanism Honor Society Chapter 2026, Dr. Anne-Marie Daw. Dr. Rima Abu Shaheen. Dr. Rahma Al-Gharib. Dr. Yasmina Salam. Medical students inducted to the UBFM Gold Humanism Honor Society Chapter 2026. Jad Abdel Khaliq. Shahd Abul Husn. Ricardo Bitar. Dina Shahrur. Rita Al-Tabib. Nicolas Lies. Nadim Ahmedi. Muhammad Jabir. Jean-Marc Jraisati. Aaron Marajanian. لين مغربي. سارة عمران. نور ترمس. لين طفيلي. إبراهيم ياسين. مريم زيدان. دانا زين.
Okay, so I would like to call everyone, all the inductees, to really stand near the, we get the group picture together. Okay, for all inductees, please. Dr. Badr? Yes, of course. Please join us to the podium. يلا. So as all our inductees are standing now, I would like to recite the oath, and you will recite it by heart. This is the oath of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. I pledge by all that I hold dear as a physician, I will care for my patients with compassion, respect, empathy, integrity, and clinical excellence. I will listen to my patients with my whole being. I will advocate for each patient as a unique individual. I will serve as a role model and mentor to promote humanism in healthcare. I will remember always the healing power of acts of caring. I will dedicate myself to joining with others to make healthcare optimal for all. So as we close, I would like to thank President Khoury for being with us today, despite his tight schedule. Dean Sawaya, Vice Dean Badr. I would like to thank Ms. Reem Saad, the selection committee, and my partner, Dr. Zaina Kanafani. And remember, please, to gather for the reception outside. Congratulations to all inductees. كل سنة وأنتم بخير.